it's all about communication. It's just all about communication and the tough conversations and calling each other forth. There's sometimes we're calling each other out, and I think we're both working on that, but calling each other forth of, hey, you don't seem like you're doing well. Like, you seem like you need rest. Like, you're seeming like you really need a break. You know what I mean? Like, when you're picking up on, like, this isn't the best version of Rachel, this isn't the best version of Josh. I think that whether you're step parenting or working together or whatever, like, that to me is where it all falls short, because parenting is the hardest job on the planet. There's no other job that's more difficult, period. And only parents understand that.
Hey everybody, welcome to Delusional. I am so excited to have my friends Josh and Rachel, the Beeleys, with me today, and they have 2 dogs, 3 kids, and 2 businesses together, which I think is delusional as hell. So we're going to talk all about all of that. And the businesses are very successful, by the way. I should mention that the businesses are very successful. And I think the kids and the dogs are probably successful as well, knowing you two. So
the most successful.
the dogs are the real winners in this entire scenario. Where did this whole story start for you? Because as long as I've known you two, you've been working together. You're a powerhouse team. Pretty cool. I couldn't work with anybody I was married to, so I'm just like in awe of you already from there. But tell me how did you guys even meet and get together, and what possessed you to go into business as married people?
I'll let Rachel tell it, because we go back and forth on this, and she's like, I'll start telling it. She's like, no.
No, so, I think you should tell.
Okay, I'll start until...
Yeah, start with your background a little bit.
I'll start until Rachel tells me that I haven't went the right way, which is the delusional aspect of it. So, so I was married for almost a decade, and yeah, I mean, I was quote unquote successful, as most people see it, which is most people deem success based on monetary value. I did all the things that we were supposed to do, check the boxes, and running at that point in time, I was running 10 businesses at the same time. They were ranging anywhere from 6, 7, and 8 figures each. And wife, kids, all the other stuff. And I hated my life.
Wait, I got to pause you for a second, because you were running, if somebody says that today, I'm running 10 businesses, we could be like, sure, with AI and everything else, that's, possible. But like, you're talking about pre-AI days.
Yeah.
No wonder you fucking hated your life. I feel like, how does one even get into a position of running 10 businesses with no Claude?
It's interesting. One of my first clients, we go way back when, as my age then pops through, as my wife has told me many times, one of my first clients was MySpace.
Wow.
Actually, them design one of the first social media ads to monetize their traffic. And so I started monetizing traffic on all different aspects, every single acronym you could ever imagine. And the interesting part was, so many people, as we all get at some point, they're like, hey, can I pick your brain? Can I get information from you? And I was like, man, this is exhausting, right? Like, I know different aspects, but let me just train people. And then I went from training to, man, you're amazing at what you do. Let me take my back end business that actually, my tech, my sales, all that different aspects, and I'm going to back you. And so that's how I started acquiring other businesses. I owned the businesses more the percentage wise, and I ran the back end, but I had these CEOs of each one of these companies for the different verticals they were in, that they were specialized in, to be able to run them for them. So that's how I didn't lose my mind. Because literally, Michelle, I talked to the CEOs of themselves. So I had 9 different people I talked to, plus my CFO, my CTO, my COO, right? Like, those were the different people. So I wasn't talking to the 100+ employees that we had across all the different companies. So that helped a lot. And I didn't think I was, but I was shallow. I was concentrating on the money. And I think that's what really led me to my downfall of, there's got to be more to life than this. And that's kind of where the reset kind of came for my life, was there's got to be more. I want to be able to add value. I'm having kids. What's going on? And I met a group called Mavericks with Yannick Silver. And they showed me there's a world of people that are actually adding value to this world and being successful at the same time. It introduced me to Richard Branson, things like that. And so I started to shift my life. And my former goes, what are you doing? Why do you want to change the world? Right? Like, why don't you just do what you do well and make money? And I realized that we were on two different paths.
Right.
And so I ended up going through a divorce. Money was more important on the other side than it was for me because I knew I could make more. I could make more time. And so I walked away from everything at 36. And I moved back in with my parents to save time and save time for my kids because that's what I cared about most. Shortly after that, I was out with a buddy of mine for some drinks in Austin, Texas. And we were at a bar and my buddies go, Josh, man, we need some ladies. Go find some. So
that was your job? Go find the ladies?
That was my job at the time.
He was
I was peacocking. I had my man bun. I had my,
low shirt.
My low shirt.
I can see it. Yeah, you're a peacock of a guy. I get it.
I mean, and so I grabbed the ball of Fireball.
Literally.
At that time, that's what was cool. I can't even think of drinking it now. And I walk out on the dance floor and I walk up to this woman that is holding this like unicorn head and with this massive group of girls. And I'm like, would y'all like some Fireball? And it just happened to be this lady here.
Amazing. First try.
Thus, we are delusional.
I don't know if it's first
Even
try.
Even that is actually so unheard of these days. That
Yeah,
we
I mean, I don't know if first try, but like, let me tell you, like, I think Rachel reminded me too. Like when I asked you your age, I wasn't 36. I was 30.
You said you were 36.
I think I was 36, but I was like 37. So like I was saying, God only knows, right? And it's and here we are today. I mean, there's a lot more in between that, but it was our first picture together ever is me pouring Fireball down because she was with a bridal party, bachelorette party. And she's in the background like this, and I'm pouring a shot of Fireball into the bride-to-be's mouth.
I'll text you.
I was going to ask Rachel why you had a unicorn head, but I guess the picture's starting to come together. This was some kind of bachelorette unicorn party.
Gotta, obviously, for the bachelorette.
Got it.
So, then fast forward 10 years and 2 dogs, 3 kids, 2 businesses. And the 2 businesses really, and how we came together was me literally begging Rachel. I mean, come on. I was like, you're a badass because she was in corporate. I was like, please save me. And no, I mean, again, it was really like, there's so much more. I knew what I didn't have. I knew what she possessed and I didn't see her happy in the world that she was in. And I knew she could be such a greater force on this planet and honestly make me better at the same time.
I love it. I want to pause for a second and talk with you guys about this revenue isn't everything issue, right? Because this is an arc we see a lot of the time with entrepreneurs. You start out, you go, oh my God, I've got a new business. It's got to make money. That's where I've got to focus. And then some people grow a lifestyle business and they're fine with that. And they're like, oh, it's functioning. It's paying me like a job and that's good. And then some of us are fucking crazy. And I don't know about you, Josh, but I got caught up about 10 years back in the like, I got to be on the Inc. 5000 list and I've got to grow my company as fast as possible. And like, I got into that, they say revenue is vanity, profit is sanity. I got into the revenue is vanity part of that equation. I was making millions of dollars, but I was spending millions of dollars to make millions of dollars. So I could say, look at all this money I made, meaning revenue, not profit. and I hated my life. And it became then all about money. Because then there's people on payroll, everything else. And now it becomes like, oh, I have to make this much money, not only from my pride and an ego standpoint, but I've got to keep all these people employed, which again was another pride and ego thing I got into. So like you, I had a kind of a crisis of the soul where I went, wait a second, like this can't be my life. This actually sucks. I coach people through that transition now all the time where they go, hey, I checked all the boxes. I did everything I was supposed to do. I got the degree. I got married. I had the kids. I got the money and I hate my life. And what do I do now? And how do I get out of it? And maybe that's just the typical midlife crisis. But for entrepreneurs, this is an arc, right? And then we go back to the drawing board and we go, wait, what do you actually like to do? What feeds your soul? What's your purpose? What's your mission? And we kind of reset on that. So Josh, there was a point where you needed to reset on your mission. Rachel, I want to hear your end of the story as well, because you were in corporate, which, you and I are both MBAs. We've done our little time in corporate. It wasn't for me. I didn't last very long. I think you lasted a lot longer than I did in corporate. But what was going on with your career at the point where you met Josh?
Yeah. So unlike Josh, I was the employed professional. I mean, I worked on marketing agency side, big brands like Unilever. Decided that I wanted to get my MBA while I was living in New York at the time, and got into UT and moved my life to Austin.
University of Texas.
Yeah, I never would have been in Texas otherwise, and be clear about that. And
you wouldn't be here in Texas right now if it wasn't
for you. Still correct.
I want to say for the record, I love Texas. Went to undergrad in Texas.
I have a lot more love, but that wasn't like, it was very much focused on the career path, right? It was, I wanted to work with big brands. I landed with the MBA, the Microsoft opportunity, was so excited to move to Seattle. Really a dream job, especially, the MBA cycle and how that works. And, when Josh and I met, that story, I had already accepted my job at Microsoft. I was moving to Seattle literally like 2 months after we connected. So it was, Josh and I were very much like, nothing's really going to come of this. Like, we were just living in a fun, like kind of living in what I think all coaches would want you to be living, right? Where you're just like being yourself and you're not asking questions and you're going with the flow of life. That's what both of us were doing.
I think that was awesome for us, honestly, because we're like, all right, cool. We got 2 months to just do whatever, be whatever. And
there was no strings attached, but in like, not like a gross way, just in like it was like, oh, I like enjoying hanging out with you. Like, let's hang out. But if I don't enjoy you, I don't want to hang out with you.
I've heard it called expiration dating before.
Yes.
I mean, let's be honest too. The day after I met Rachel, she did text me the next day and was like, wait a minute, why didn't you tell me you had 2 kids? I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. That's how I meet girls.
Dating, does it matter?
Divorced dude here with 2 kids. Want to hook up?
How did you find out then, Rachel? If he didn't tell you, did you internet stalk him and see him?
Yeah, okay. Yes.
Like you do.
Normal person. You do a bunch of stalking.
As one does, yeah.
I hadn't been in a relationship for 10 years, so I had no clue. I'm like,
I go on to like joshuabeely.com and I was like, he said, Dad, fuck this. But really, it wasn't all that to be said. I was at Microsoft and we actually did distance for over a year. Mm-hmm. And obviously that was like purely because we fell in love with each other. And the only reason I came back to Austin was
because I was a big baby and I couldn't handle it anymore.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously the relationship wasn't going to really work distant, and he had kids. So it was like one of the first pivotal moments for me when I would consider delusional, actually, because I had just spent all these years, all this effort with everything to land this opportunity at Microsoft. And that was in 2017. I moved back to Austin. Mm-hmm. There was no remote working. Like, the people that worked remotely were just on the sales side. And my corporate vice president at the time actually had called me to see if I was interested in an executive communication role. There's very few of them in the company, and they're really a springboard to a lot of opportunities because you're working, how
fast track up the ladder.
Yeah. Thank you. Fast track. And I had already decided that I was going to move to Austin and negotiated with my general manager at the time to let me work remotely for the next year. Of course, nowadays it's easier to have those conversations, but it wasn't then. And so I moved back. And
that was probably the first time that someone had chose me over that what they had aspired to. Like, I had always done that in my life, and I'd never have anyone choose me first. And I mean, I get emotional now even thinking about it, because again, it was such a unique thing for me outside of my mom, right? To be able to have someone do it. It's the first time I think I ever really saw true love and what it actually meant. So yeah.
And I think in the same way, with when I moved back here, so I was with Microsoft, and I ended up wanting a new opportunity, went to Gartner, became a brand manager, was owning a brand and marketing strategy for Gartner. So it was like a really quote unquote like dream, right? This is like what I wanted, reporting into the CMO of the Gartner digital markets. And in the midst of all that, so COVID happened. So that was like 2020. And obviously like everything shifted that year for all of us. And for me, it became a time of like reflection of like, what am I really trying to do? I already had been feeling inklings. Entrepreneurship and creation and all that has always been something I wanted and desired. It's ingrained, honestly. And if you are that person, it's in you. My father is an entrepreneur. My grandfather was an entrepreneur.
But your father never actually pushed you to be an entrepreneur.
He never pushed me. No.
He did not want you to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah, he did not want, but like it was, I think, and we've talked about, I would never change my path. I think having a job and learning, having somebody else pay you first is a easier path in its own way. But all that to be said, I had a great Julie Reeser. I had a great coach. I wasn't happy. And this is where Josh, I think he's saying, I saw him in this sort of love that he felt for me. I felt that same thing with Josh, where Josh, unlike any other man for sure that I dated, but like, let alone that, just like as a human in my life was like, you get to be happy. Like you don't have to be, you're like crying on the floor. Like I thought you liked this job. Like this is what you wanted, Rachel, like you shouldn't be like this upset all the time and hate this much. Like there's another way. And so him supporting me with working with Julie, and then at the time, so it was COVID and then Clubhouse.
Because you weren't even used to, and it came from, like the MBAs didn't come from worlds, Michelle, like that would come in and pay thousands of dollars to a coach. That wasn't a thing, and so
you'd be lucky to get like some coaching through the company.
Right.
That was a hard choice for her to be able to make. And I was like, and for the world I came from, like you pay people $50,000, $100,000 sometimes, a year to be able to get coached by, and like, she's like, that is insane. But
but he supported me in that. And because of that, I started to share my voice. Clubhouse came on, and a journey. I thought I would leave corporate within like 2-3 years is what I was talking to my coach about. And it became 5 months. Right. And because we started to do some things on the side after work with Gartner, I was doing things with Standout, and it just became clear that like, I think we can make this work somehow. Always the scariest part for me was paying ourselves and paying for health insurance. That was
everybody freaks out about the health insurance, and I'm like, do you understand that cost relative to like everything else going on?
That for me was because, corporate, we had very good health insurance. And with everything that's gone on with us, we paid like $50,000 a year for insurance. That's a whole, other thought, Michelle. But that's how we started to work together. And so now I just celebrated this month 5 years since being in a job, which I feel like, okay, I think now I'm in it. Every year is like 1 year, I'd be like, I still want to do this. Am I still
sure you're not delusional?
Year 2, I'm like, ugh. No, actually this year I've looked at jobs and created a resume.
So she's like, this is insanely hard.
This is hard.
It is hard. I love that we're talking openly and transparently about that, because it's really easy to get on a podcast and be like, everything's amazing and my company's great and I love everything I do and I love my work. And it's like, sure, I hope you do. I hope you love your work, because you need to love your work to make this worth it, because it is so fucking hard to be an entrepreneur. It's like, we get to talk about that. And then y'all are doing it on level extra hard, in my opinion, because you're doing it with your spouse. I want to ask all about that. But first, I have to ask a very burning question, which is the B-Lee thing. Did both of you come in with the middle initial B, or how did this B-Lee thing happen?
Reigning lady boss figured it all out way long ago.
No, it's really serendipitous, to be honest. The universe clearly had a path for us, but my maiden name is Rachel Bronstein, and I did not want to lose my last name. And
we had a lot of
we
conversations.
actually had a couple conversations about it, but it was very important to Josh, and I get it now with kids. So I moved it to my middle name. So I became,
way before we even thought that or working together.
Yeah, no, it was just like, oh, I'm moving it to the middle name. And
did we even think about like during that happened that it was a B-Lee that we shared?
Nothing.
I don't even think it was even a thought, Michelle.
No,
like,
it just was, and
then
then it was
matched.
Like, yeah. And then it became, I started to get more active on social, and I was like, Rachel Lee, there's so many of these. And Josh, I was like, I can't be Rachel Lee. And I was like, oh, that's why Josh does Joshua B. Lee. He added the B to everything. And so I started to do that.
And then you copied me on social and you're like, well, yours all that the Joshua B. Lee, so I'll be the Rachel B. Lee.
To become less basic.
I mean, Michelle, when we first started too, she had no problem. And she was very upfront. She's like, I have no problem leveraging your name and your authority until I don't need you anymore.
That's it.
As women should. We live in a big world.
Rachel, I'm going to say this out loud on my podcast. I've never said this out loud in public before. Do you know how many times I've had a conversation with a guy where I was like, I just need you to be here because I need there to be a guy because people will listen to us and we'll make more money if there's a guy.
100%. There are some conversations I say to Josh, I need you on this because you do this bro thing with this person and I need to play my role and you play your role. And that's okay.
And once they get past that, then they go, okay, cool. That was great to have Josh there. Now, can you leave? Rachel's amazing. I just want her. And I'm like, cool, I guess. So.
Well, we pick up a lot of, I say the women, strong women like ourselves, like we do have to be more in our masculine, especially in marketing and things we're doing. And if you're working with a lot of guys, it's like, you kind of need to step into this directness, this power, or else they're not going to take you seriously. That's my experience.
Yeah. I mean, the corporate world and just the working world in general is set up for very masculine. Like everybody I work with, men and women and gentle thems, and everybody is like too far in their masculine. And we're working on bringing the feminine in because, I believe we need to all have a good balance of masculine and feminine energy. But everybody's too far in their masculine, like the men, the women, everybody, because that's kind of what modern life demands of us if we're going to have any kind of a successful business or have a successful corporate career. It's like you got to fit into this masculine paradigm. And a lot of us, myself included, Rachel, are just kind of relearning what does feminine even mean? Like, what is that? What does that look like for me? Oh, I'm supposed to be a woman. Everyone told me to wash my face and shut up.
That's a whole other road we can go, Michelle.
Which sucks because we've got two girls. I don't want that for them. And that's why I'm so proud of what Rachel does and how she shows up, because it gives our girls, an amazing, powerful female to look up to. Yeah. And I can only hope and pray that, not only Rachel can change this world for the better, which I know she does every single day, but we can also, in the work that we do, we can empower more women to be able to do that same, because I need amazing women like Rachel, like you, Michelle, to be able to blaze that path for my girls.
Yeah. And that's it.
I'm there as well, but I can't, I don't want to. I'll shut up now.
Well, you don't have the same feminine authority, maybe, Joshua, as some of us do. We are blazing but there were paths that were blazed for us that were those more masculine paths of like, here's how as a woman you can kind of become one of the guys and you can masculinize and you can have a successful career. You might be the only woman at the table, but you can be the woman at the table if you work hard, and I have my own, traumatic backstory of trying to be one of the guys in politics and like how badly that fucked me up. And I think, every woman around our age has versions of that story if they've had a successful corporate career or they're successful entrepreneurs. And now we're trying to figure out something different and be like, wait, how can we do this at this level and be authentic and be ourselves? And like, who even are we? Right? What's that? What are those things that we lost that we need to bring back? What I wanted to ask you, and I didn't mean this to be gendered, but it can be if it wants to be, is how you all divide your labor in your companies. I mean, obviously Josh is the peacock, right? He's
let's be 100 out of 100 out of 100. She goes, I don't care whatever happens. You go out there and look pretty and do what you do best.
That's it.
She told me that before.
Oh.
She goes, I don't care if it's bringing in women, whatever. Like, we need clients,
fine.
go out there and look pretty.
And I tell them, like, listen, if I need to show a little bit of tit or like do what I need to do, like.
You're so pragmatic, Rachel. You're hilarious. People used to ask, back 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago when the gender thing was in question, are you a man or are you a woman? Do you know? And I'd be like, I don't know. My gender is pragmatism. I would be very happy to be a guy for a day and see how it went. I'd probably come back so mad that I wouldn't be able to come back. Anyway, okay, so he's the peacock. If you're not watching, if you're listening, I have to describe him to you. He has this mohawk that he rocks all the time. He's always in like designer clothes. Was that Prada today? What's going on today?
It's not a Prada thing. It's just plain.
I saw the triangle.
The Italian brand. Well, the thing is too, Michelle, like it is, I'm very blessed. I mean, I've got a lot of cool clothes, but at the same time, I get a lot of clothes sent to me as well. So that's because of being on stages,
TikTok influence,
and my different socials and stuff like that. So I've taken advantage of that aspect of like, look, you know what? If you're gonna send me some cool things, like I got no problem with it. I'm not gonna say that I'm buying everything. I get sent a lot of cool stuff to be able to be on shows like this. To be like, hey, look, I wore your shirt there.
Wore your shirt. Oh my gosh. You know what? I've only gotten very minimal free things. I need to make this more of a concerted effort on my part. I need to grow my following.
Yeah, Michelle, at the same time, Rachel's like, dude, it's like, stop getting clothes or crap. Like, can you get someone to pay you? I'm like, I'm not that cool. I'm not that famous. They don't give me money, but
all free. Okay, aside from being the guy who has to go out and show some leg, Josh, how do you guys divide the labor in the company?
It's a important question that it has evolved
massively,
a lot. When we first started working together, we also had somebody that was running operations, and that was one of the big lessons that I think we've learned since. Three's a crowd for us as the owners, and so that was a piece of just like, okay, Josh and I first and foremost, we're here and like, it's us at the same level and thinking. And like, there's nobody else that's at that same level as us. We had to really learn that kind of a hard way. The other piece is like, yes, you could say he's a peacock, but I am, what's another peacock?
Superstar.
No, what's a similar?
You have to be old to get that reference, Josh. I got it. I'm old.
No, but what's like a similar peacock for a girl? Okay, whatever.
Butterfly.
Yeah, sure.
Fly, spread your wings.
I'm very much like I like to be on stages. I'm outspoken, right? And I think that there's always, especially in the beginning of us working together, there was a lot of
tough.
There was a lot of ego, right? There was just like, oh well, I should be prioritized, or you should be prioritized. I'm the CEO and Josh is the CEO. And so we had to figure out really like, what is your territory and roles and responsibility? And Josh, what the good thing about as we figured that out is like, there are a lot of things that I don't want to do that Josh wants to do, and vice versa. When it comes to like managing people and and I don't love project management, but I know how to take a strategy and make a plan and get shit done, and then work with the team and follow through and that.
Yeah, I'm the typical entrepreneur where I'm like, I see big vision and I'm an amazing cheerleader to get people excited.
And then that's why with the whole Phoenix Rising, it's pretty staggering because I haven't helped him at all. But that's what's cool about this new age of AI.
But that's what I've had Michelle to help with too.
With Josh, he's
what we're talking about, by the way. Now we've veered into inside territory.
Yeah, but sorry. This is what Josh. This is a perfect example, right? Josh, I'm like staying on the task of the question and answering, and Josh is coming in with other things. But that's what I've learned to love and figure out, how do we balance each other out. And I think honestly, any entrepreneur, business owner, and just a professional, that's the hardest task, right? It's working with other people. It's figuring out your lane. It's figuring out how to communicate through the conflict. And it's extra difficult when it's your husband or wife. and then you have kids. So I'd say we constantly are just like, I'm not in the mood for a business conversation. Not right now. Like it's 6:30 in the morning. But then he might be.
We had to change a little bit too. I mean, what was it, about a year and a half ago? I mean, like, I was the CEO doing all this other stuff. I mean, many times Rachel came to me and said, there's so many opportunities for female businesses. We probably should make Stand Authority a female-owned business and this and that. And
I've been saying it for a while.
Yeah, I know. And I was like, bro, I started this company. Like, ego. Like, what are you talking about? You came in and not until I got sat down with a group of my friends, and it was a mastermind kind of thing, and by a friend of mine, David Gonzalez, and he's like, oh, well, I need to be able to figure out how to make more money. But friends of mine, and I paid him for this, and they had all the people already knew, and I'm like, what the hell am I paying you to have people that know me come in? Like, I could have done this by myself, and they called bullshit on me lovingly, and they said, you don't need to make more money. You're not doing what you want and what you should be doing. And the biggest aha out of that was, one, I shouldn't be the CEO. That's not my lane. Rachel's amazing at it, more than me. And so that's one of the first things. I was like, girl, you run it. And then two, really quickly, I was like, you're 100% correct. Like I said, we have 2 daughters. We want to be able to empower them. And so 100%, this should be a female company. So we shifted the Stand Authority to Rachel being majority shareholder of Stand Authority. And then also with YOUmanize that we just started as well, her being a female owned and female founded business.
Love it. Rachel, have you been able to leverage that for any kind of funding or any kind of anything yet, being a female owned business?
Trying, working on it. Yeah. It's there's a lot of opportunities. So there's different applications, especially on the funding side for YOUmanize. But Michelle, as you know, also from a economic and political standpoint, there's been quite a bit of funding that's been pulled from anything that's centered on anything
right male?
Anything that's not general. And so, but I'm working on it. And I'd like us to be a women-owned business, but it's quite a bit of a process to actually do it. So
it is a process. We used to have all those certifications, and I kind of let them go, just pragmatically. For a while, we thought we were going to even get into government contracting here in DC. That was anyone could have looked at me and said, Michelle, you don't want to do that. But I thought that was a great idea. So I pursued that for a year. And it becomes really important in that. We had all the different diversity certifications, but to your point, nowadays it's a little bit less relevant than it used to be, sadly.
Maybe just on the economic aspect of it, I think it's more relevant than ever. Me personally, as not only a guy but as a father, I want to be able to see this. I want to make sure that we're creating a better world than what we're in, and I think it's a big part of it. You talked about when we started a lot of this part of the conversation was, how do we shift from making money to actually making impact? And I think that's where a lot of this kind of comes in. And what continues to drive Rachel and I is the fact that we have to be able to do this for the right reasons. If we're just doing it for money, like you said you had done, Michelle, and I had done for me, I'm like, dude, I stared at a wall, quote unquote successful, contemplating if the money I would leave for my kids would be more important than me. Contemplating
I've done it too. Yeah, I've done it too. I've been like, am I more valuable dead? I mean, that's a really depressing thing to talk about out loud, but there have been times where I looked at the picture and went, ooh, if I could fake it somehow, they'd get a lot of life insurance money. Maybe everyone would be better off. I mean, that's a dark thought, but I think it's one every entrepreneur has had at some point.
Yeah.
I have not.
Well, she's early on, so, and she's seen.
Yeah, give it time, Rach.
I would just know. That's not me. But the past 2 years has been
tough.
Really tough.
Just because of what the kids have been going through.
And business, all of it. It's been really tough. Like I said, I've looked at just to see what the market is for VP of branding or whatever. And I think when you face that, right, when you face the possibility of the thing you really, really don't want, and it was the same thing when I was trying to get pregnant and I had 4 canceled transfers, and I was talking, and she's like, have you thought and faced the idea that maybe you won't birth a baby, that you have to get a surrogate? And I was in hysterics about it, but I actually had to think about it. And it was so icky to think about. But like to do that kind of like released almost. Okay, I'm going to release that. Now I can like be back here and like, okay, well, what am I going to do right here? And that, to me, that practice is a fully entrepreneur practice. When you're employed by somebody else, you don't have the same sort of pressures. You might get fired, sure. Yes. But when your ass is on the line, your fulfillment, your purpose every single day, you're constantly being faced with the internal battle, right? Of, is this what I want? What is the worst that can happen? How am I going to get through this? Like, you're just constant. You actually said it's an arc. And as you said that, I said, that's not really an arc. It's rolling mountains.
Yeah, it is. You're right. There's one arc and then there's other arcs that come out.
Right?
So you said so pretty. I'm like, it's a roller coaster because you're like, yeah.
Well, and you learn to regulate, right? I mean, that's when you talk about, well, what's the most important skill you can have? Well, regulating your nervous system, regulating your emotions. So that
that's what we do for each other. Sometimes. A lot of times she can tell when I'm dysregulated. I try and do it for her. Sometimes I don't do it as well as she does for me. She's my emotional support animal.
Well, hopefully we can all learn how to regulate ourselves, Josh.
Don't quote that one, okay? Don't make a reel out of that one.
Listen, I don't control what the reels get made. I wish I were controlling this at that granular level. I'll try to tell the podcast production people, like, hey, don't make a reel out of that one, or do, because it'll be really funny. Whatever you guys want to do that gets more eyeballs. More eyeballs equals more free shit for Josh. So
just whatever you do with the reels, and just make sure that I don't have this like face.
Now your ADHD is kicking in.
I feel like you are more hands-on with your production staff than I am. I just kind of give them the recording and say, make some good.
Kidding me? I'm always like, yep, it's cool, it's good, flow, throw it. Rachel's like, I review everything, every word, I read all this, and I'm like, bruh.
No, I don't.
More so than me.
More so than you, yes.
I think this is what kills most people out there that want to be entrepreneurs are like, oh, it's got to be perfect. And that was some of the stuff that Rachel hit in the beginning.
It was
like, it's got to be perfect. Put it out. I was like, perfection is death.
Yeah.
Like, again, if I'm waiting for perfection, I'm never going to get there. So like, if we're at least 70% there, I'm good.
Yeah.
Like, throw it out there and let's just see what happens.
Yeah. Well, and like my 70% is most people's like 110%. So.
Right. I am very familiar with this dynamic. I am partnered in this dynamic currently, as well as, I've coached many couples that work together, whether romantically coupled or not, business partners or spouses that are working together. There's almost always somebody that's more of a like, let's throw it out and see what happens, which is me. And somebody that's a little more like, we need to be really cautious and diligent and double check everything and make sure everything's right. My partner, Brad, is that way. He is like literally the guy that if we're about to go ziplining or something, he's going to stand there and he's going to read that fucking contract before he signs it. And we're all like, we're waiting to get on the zip line, Brad. And he's like, I'm not signing this until I've read.
I'll already be down the zip line. It's like, even I'm
halfway down the zip line, like,
I'm so deep into the building and the aspects. It's really been helping. Like, it's crazy, Michelle. Like, my neurodivergence, like AI has been amazing for that because it's now been able to, I can focus multiple different paths at the same time and have something that actually does it. And even my AI goes, okay, did you check with Rachel on this? It's like, I know you said you want to push it. And then I'll be like, oh yeah, Rachel said fine. Like, are you sure? Did you really check with Rachel? And I'm like, I shit you not. Like, it really does. I showed her, like, Rachel's probably going to want to look at this. I'm like, no, it's good. Let's push it. Like, no,
I love Claude said, Rachel's, this is clearly why Rachel is meant to be CEO. I was like, I fucking love your AI. Like, I don't know what you did, but this is good.
You get me, Claude. I love you.
Like, you totally get us.
That's so funny. So how do your divisions of labor and those kind of roles transfer to your co-parenting? Because I'll say, I said earlier, I don't think I could work with a spouse. I do think I could probably work with my current partner. But what I've never done successfully is stayed married to someone I was co-parenting with. I have now 2 failed attempts at that. Shit's hard. And it's like the kids come in and suddenly like, yeah, you're not just automatically on the same page about what needs to happen. So
Co-parenting anymore, especially when you talk about the stepkids, which are my oldest, 16 and 14, and then Ava, our daughter together. But I mean, like most people would only there's only certain time frames that you have the stepkids, how we started with. So now all the kids are with us all the time.
yeah.
So that's even a different dynamic. And it's difficult. I mean, like we kind of go back and forth. Our own insecurities kind of pop in. I can't speak for Rachel. I can only tell you that as a father of these three kids, I couldn't do it without her. And I wouldn't want to do it without her. I was a quote unquote single parent for a little while, and that shit's rough. And to be able to have that person that can see when you're struggling and vice versa is amazing. And we'll fight about it a lot too. You know, Rachel always tells me, she's like, well, I probably should.
Be wise.
See, if you notice, before I say certain things, she's now trained me to look at her to be able to see.
Yeah, I know. You're like, is it okay? We're on camera.
Like, all the good stuff from your kids is me. All the bad shit from your kids is you. Well, you and former, but yeah.
Well, Skylar listens to everything. She's even around here.
Oh, she already looked to the window and made faces at us. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I think for Josh and I, you know, it's all about communication. It's just all about communication and the tough conversations and calling each other forth. There's sometimes calling each other out. And I think we're both working on that, you know, but calling each other forth. Hey, you don't seem like you're doing well. Like you seem like you need rest. Like you're seeming like you really need a break. You know what I mean? Like when you're picking up on like, this isn't the best version of Rachel. This isn't the best version of Josh. I think that whether you're step parenting or working together or whatever, like that to me is where it all falls short, because parenting is the hardest job on the planet. There's no other job that's more difficult, period. And only parents understand that. Right. And so I think for us, it's just like also finding time, which is something we're struggling with, I'd say, is just for ourselves, Michelle. You know, it's like, what does Rachel need to like fill her cup? Well, I like to hang out with my friends sometimes. Like I need some time in the morning. Josh is honestly figuring out like what is going to bring him some joy back in for his own life. And because our focus has been,
my focus has been 200% on the kids because they've been going through their own
and business. That's it.
Yeah. Mental health stuff for the last 2 years. So, yeah.
And us just finding time to like go on a date night, even if it's an hour, you know? So it's, I think the complexity of our situation is more than others, but ultimately I think for Josh and I, we both are very committed and we're good communicators and we're trying our best.
And for you too, it's been try not to be the person that puts in the enforcing of rules with like the older kids, which is very hard for you because you want to be
evolved a lot. I've had to do a lot more than I would like to, but that's also part of boundaries. I've learned a lot about boundaries, Michelle. A lot of women, this is our growth is about boundaries.
For sure.
I mean, I would say all women, because it's easy for us to just do whatever, make it easy for the kids, make it easy for the husband or the partner, and like, let me be last. So that has been a really big learning for me is I actually cannot do this. I need to step away from this. No, I'm not going to be at that meeting. No, I'm not going to show up. And there's been some situations where I'm like, I'm tapping out of this one. You got this.
Well, I was going to ask if y'all had certain systems because like people I've worked with in the past, they might say, oh, I have work hat on right now, or now it's family hat time, or they had like systems so that I'm not carrying work stress.
Yeah.
How do you guys like keep those boundaries between work and family time and romance time and whatever?
Well, and I wrote my book, Balance is Bullshit, right? And I know that you're supposed to have boundaries, but I think at the same time, we have to be very careful in this world because so many people have like, well, this is my work life and this is my personal life. And then they have two different personalities. And then, I mean, like you have two different personalities, you're taking meds or you're getting a lot of psychiatry to be able to kind of get help. And we have that one life. And I think that's what Rachel and I do really well. We do live that one life really well. It's not a work life or personal life. Now, like Rachel said, getting an hour to have dinner. Sometimes we go to dinner and we're like, I mean, it's done in an hour because we're already involved in every aspect of our life. So we're like, man, are we done already? Like we can't make this last long.
All this all day. Yeah.
It's, but there are some, I mean, that's just, I have to be very cognizant. I want that perfect. I grew up, I always wanted a family. I have to be very cognizant that, it's not that perfect family that we were all taught about and stuff like that. And have to be that Rachel is the stepmom, and a lot of the different situations that are going through. And I can't expect her to just do but she does. And I think that's the hard thing, right? I have to be able to put my expectations of what my perfect life would be and just appreciate what we have. And I mean, what we have is I couldn't do it. We couldn't do it without each other. But we do have to be able to have, I mean, there's certain times she knows at night, like if she'll want to talk business. And I'm like, bro, I'm spent.
Yeah.
And I'm more the morning person. She's more afternoon, evening.
But I feel like it.
I wish we had some rhyme or reason to Michelle. Like we
don't have systems.
Right now.
Survival. This is survival.
Let me ask you this way, because this is a good wrap-up question anyway. For anybody listening who wants to do the whole business and life partner thing with somebody, what's your best advice?
Watch out.
Don't.
Watch out for a dude with a mohawk. Is that what you're trying to say?
Nope, guys.
Stay away from
it's this is what we started. And I think this is carried over, Michelle. For anyone wanting to do this, like Rachel said already, was communication. This started before we ever worked in business, when she left to go to Seattle. And I remember she was like, yo, you want to come see me? I'm like, sure, I'll call you. Right. And she's like, why don't you book a ticket? I'm like, you can outplay me. I'm going to buy that ticket. You can't, con me into like doing this. And then it kind of rolled into it. But I said, look, before we do all this, I said, let's just be open. Like, let's put everything on the table, because like, it's easy. Both of us can walk away the other way. And I mean, from that point forward, we've been very, very open. The only times that it really, we start seeing big cracks that are cause issues is when we do not communicate. Mm-hmm. And when we are not just brutally honest. And this is a good friend of mine, and you actually, I don't know if you knew him before, but you were just with him, Jesse Elder, told me many years ago, he's like, sometimes you have to lovingly call bullshit on somebody. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what allows us.
That's what I love to do.
Oh, all day long.
I have to hold back, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen you all enough to know you guys are very good at calling bullshit on each other and receiving it too, because it's not just the being willing to, put yourself out there and say, hey, get back in line. But the other one is going, oh, you're right. You're right. Like there's a graciousness between the two of you that's really lovely to witness.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, it's Rachel taught me many years ago. I mean, I'm the only child. I'm the entrepreneur. Like, I'm the man, where it's like, okay, like if I just ignore it or just walk away from it, it'll just go away. And as men, we forget shit real quick and real easy. While a lot of women hold on to things for a lot longer. And if I try to go to bed and we're in not a great place, she's going to call me out on it. And you know what? It sucks sometimes for me because I'm in my big baby mode. But it's better for us and it makes us better. And I think that's the big thing, right? Like and it all goes back to communication. I think it's the hardest thing for us to be able to do, but you have to be able to put everything on the table and hope that the person that you're with, business partner, life partner, will love you for all the wrong reasons. No, that's not the right way to say it.
Everything that you are, holistically.
The good, the bad. It's what's the one saying, Michelle, is, you can't love yourself until you love your darkness.
Love anybody else until you love yourself. Yes.
So there's a thank you, babe. Thank you, Michelle, for correcting me.
Loving yourself is great. Josh and Rachel, thank you so much for being on the show. Where can people find y'all on the internet if they want to send you free stuff or just be your friend or work with you or anything else?
Well, Rachel needs more followers these days, so look for her first. She's
fun. Well,
I'm joking.
LinkedIn is our number one. So we love LinkedIn, the Rachel B. Lee and Joshua B. Lee. But, Instagram, he's on TikTok. But also go to standoutauthority.com if you're interested in working directly with us and our team, or YOUmanize, YOUmanize.ai is our human credibility intelligence platform that we're really excited about. And definitely want more people to give that a try. Go get your credibility score, see how you're showing up online. And thank you for your time today.
Absolutely. Guys, thank you so much for being on. If you're listening and watching, you can find me anywhere at Michelle to Scale. I also really need to grow my platform so that people will send me free stuff. And right now, if you DM me, we'll be talking to me because I am not famous yet. So get in on that while you can. And join us in the Delusional movement on Facebook. We got a little Facebook group going where we talk about delusional shit all day. So come and find us there. Josh and Rachel B. Lee, thank you so much for being on. It's been awesome having you guys.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Everybody else, we'll see you next time. Bye.